Hi, I'm Dan Avshalomov, the violist of the American String Quartet. Pleased and proud to be back for our third tour in Israel.
I'm the second violinist and an original member of the American String Quartet. This is our 37th year playing together.
I joined the quartet in 1990 and have been the first violinist ever since.
I'm the cellist of the American String Quartet for the last 7 years. I am originally from Germany. I moved to New York in 1991, so I'm more a New Yorker than a German at this point.
Both my parents were musicians, so I started playing the violin at a very early age, about 7 years old.
My father was a cellist, quite famous cellist. He was the original cellist of the Juilliard String Quartet, and my mother a professional pianist. So when they saw that I think they decided when I was just a little boy that they wanted me to be a violinist so we could play piano trios in the house. So I started when I was 4 years old, and we started playing piano trios when I was about 10.
I started piano actually when I was 6 years old. Then when I was 8 years old, they got a big cello for me at a flea market, which was of course too big. And when I was 10, I actually started then regular cello lessons.
Just before my 5th birthday, I told my parents that I wanted a violin, and my father, who's a professional musician, was absolutely against it. I had been to some concerts, and I remember seeing Isaac Stern play, and I remember this guy coming out on stage who was actually not much taller than I was, come out and plant himself and pick up one of his chins and stick the violin in there and start playing, you know, and the whole audience was like that. Everybody, we couldn't take our eyes off this man, and I thought, that's an interesting situation. I'd like to try doing that myself. In my teens, I switched to viola and discovered string quartets, and it's been downhill ever since. I studied at the Juilliard School, which is where the American String Quartet began its existence, and we've been playing together for 200 years.
I probably would be a psychiatrist or psychologist.
I've always been very passionate about animals. I think I probably would have done something, maybe veterinary medicine or something to do with wildlife.
I've spent a lot of time in the woods, in the outdoors, hiking and climbing. So I suppose if I could have something to do with forestry or ecology or, you know, the environment, that would probably be it.
Professional basketball player, but probably my lack of ability to shoot the ball well enough would make me not find that that profession so easy.
Somehow it ended up perfectly that I'm in a traveling string quartet, so I'm very happy to see the world, and maybe another profession which requires a lot of traveling would be nice.
Beethoven.
Probably would be Beethoven.
Without any doubt, Beethoven.
Beethoven, for sure. There are so many questions that I have
some very specific questions for you. And then I'd say, I have some very specific questions for you, because of course he was deaf.
When we're rehearsing quartets, I think he's the composer that most often comes up and saying, if only we could ask him what he meant by this.
In Opus 131, there is a single note that quartet players argue about, whether Beethoven wanted this or whether he wanted that. Honestly, one note out of 50,000 notes in this piece. So yeah, if I could have just 10 minutes with Beethoven, I'd be very happy.
That I just don't think there's any art form in this world which is even close to what he created.
I feel the music is so intense and so it reaches everybody so deeply that I would just like to know what this man was like.